Today's date is November 8th, 2017, and here's today's news. Ed Gillespie lost the Virginia gubernatorial election, in part because this other guy, Ralph Northam, ran these ads against him that were that he took as very negative. The Latino Victory Fund ran these ads against him, depicting a pickup truck driving after a bunch of brown kids in Northern Virginia, which are honestly some of my fondest memories growing up in Fairfax. So I just think that was just it wasn't even really like something against Trump. It was probably just, trying to appeal to the nostalgia vote, I think. It's interesting because, he complained about the Gillespie, who's a conservative, complained about Northam running that ad against him, but at the same time, that's all the policies he stands for. I wonder what Gillespie actually, had a problem with. Was it honestly, I feel like that doesn't represent my campaign at all. I would have had a Ford F-250 in it, not a Ford F-150. I think that's totally inappropriate and misrepresentative of my cause and my voters. I think a lot of people actually saw the Latino Victory Fund ad and it backfired. Not in the sense that Northam got bad press, but in the sense that all of a sudden people were really interested in what Ed Gillespie was about. Ed Gillespie, it was interesting because he's like, well, my constituents, you were misrepresenting me. My constituents prefer Hummers, and if I show them in a truck, they're gonna think I'm a wimp. So we can't have that. So they were very angry at that campaign. I feel like Ed Gillespie probably, he basically was moderate, and then he tacked to the right and tried to appeal to rural whites. And I was like, I think, he should have said, I don't approve of this message. My name is Ed Gillespie, and I don't approve of this message, but I do like it. That's the way I feel about, Baskin Robbins, from a dietary standpoint. I feel like, it's going to be very hard to reach out to these voters. It's interesting because he just basically gave it up at the end because he was like, well, we're trying to become a diverse party, and, I'm trying to reach out to widening the party's base, but on the other hand, I have to win an election. And I understand that. That's very important. All the greats, Andrew Jackson, the guys who had the compromise that ended Reconstruction, sometimes expediency is important. It's critical. I am a little afraid of all the environment of all these active shooters and all this stuff going on. I wonder, at a certain point, with all these shootings going on, now you used to just get concerned about going to a Dodgers game or a big event. Now I just even get concerned about going to even a small event. And it makes it very hard for me to think how can I enjoy this movie while also anticipating an active shooter situation? I certainly can't go to action movies anymore because that will reduce my reaction time by probably about 3 to 5 seconds. I think Tom Cruise is probably on his way out because of all these active shooting things that are going on right now. On the other hand, Netflix's stock is probably going to go about 20%. Because you can't get shot at home. The UCLA men's basketball team was detained for trafficking in clearly fake shoes. They were detained in China for committing a crime. I think the crime might have been that the Chinese authorities found, Lou Mangelo Ball plays for the UCLA basketball team, And I think they probably saw the Big Baller brand shoes, and they said clearly they're trafficking in counterfeit goods, because this bald man right here, who's a loudmouth, who says he's Lonzo Ball's dad, tells me these are worth $500, and I just know that isn't true. So I think they're probably just detained for that, for the fake shoes. I bet Ball's probably... I mean, they're going to face a sentence potentially of 3 to 10 years for stealing some sunglasses in China, which is a very long time. I think no glasses... I mean, admittedly, maybe you can get all the girls in prison if you have really, really nice glasses. So, also interestingly, right now it's interesting that these elections happened because the president is out of the country. He's actually in China right now, also trying to get his hands on some of these Big Baller brand shoes and do a cross-branding promotion. And as a side note, he's going to meet with, the premier of China and hopefully negotiate, I don't know, how to save this planet or something. But in any case, I am jealous of the president because, a year after the election, I mean, who wouldn't want to be out of the country? And he gets to be? Why not me? Why not me? That's the question I ask when I read the cover of Mindy Kaling's book. Every Asian country apparently is rolling out the red carpet to try to appeal to Trump's giant ego. I think that if China plays its cards right, I think the best opening ceremony for Trump visiting would be Jack Ma dancing as Michael Jackson, just like he did for the Alibaba event. That'd be the best. Or, they can try to outdo each other, based on the Russian allegations about what Trump did in Russia. There are rumors about golden showers and whatnot. That, every country, I think, is trying to outdo itself in basically saying, we have the best human beings as urinals. Whatever Putin did for you and taped, we will make a complimentary tape you can go home and visit, and you can go home with and, watch with your family. It is interesting right now, all the stuff that's going on in the NFL. Trump has apparently, people have noted that conservatives have failed to connect with African Americans, but I just want to say as an African American that, while they have failed to connect, I do notice the swings. Just keep swinging. We're just very fast, especially those in the NFL. Just keep swinging at us, and maybe you'll connect at some point, and then your constituents will cheer. He apparently one of the guys who lost an election in Virginia today, or yesterday, was actually the most conservative member of the Virginia legislature, and he got beat by the first trans woman who is now being elected to Congress. He apparently referred to himself, it was his election to lose. He did oftentimes dub himself as as Virginia's chief homophobe, which is not, first of all, it doesn't even use code words, and it's terrible branding. It's terrible branding because, one, you're not using code words, 2, no memes involved, 3, no hashtags, and 4, Trump didn't even retweet it, so it was pretty bad. You can't say chief homophobes, at least yet. We're in President Trump's America. We're not in Emperor Trump's America. Apparently, the person who beat him, the first openly trans person, actually beat him mostly on talking about traffic issues and a certain highway that goes into Northern Virginia. So, way to stay on point. Your method is your message. So it's really all about just getting people, transgenderism, getting people where they want to go faster. I think that that's a pretty winning message. I think that probably beats chief homophobe. 8 out of 10 times. 8 out of 10, I'd say. There apparently, one of the political consultants who commented on the race is a guy named Dave Mudcat Saunders. Mudcat Saunders. He was quoted in the Washington Post and not on the Learning Channel, on Swamp People Incorporated, or Redneck Island. But he does sound like, he doesn't sound like a political consultant. He sounds more like a pro wrestling personality, which admittedly in the southern part of Virginia, he probably has his hand on the pulse of things. I do love all of the state of Virginia. It is great place to grow up. So apparently Northam, one of the critiques, or one of the comments that Dave Mudcat Saunders, who is, by the way, despite his moniker, actually a Democrat, though I'm not sure a liberal, he said that Northam ran basically as Hillary Clinton, which makes Northam, if you think about it, the second most notable transgender candidate who won in Virginia last night. Northam was accused of being soft on pedophilia and MS-13, whereas his candidate basically said that he had a hard-on for both. You decide, America. Northam apparently in his acceptance speech said, "It's going to take a doctor to heal these differences. I'm going to let you know the doctor is in." To which my reaction to that acceptance speech line, "The doctor is in," was clearly the speechwriter was out. The doctor is in, now let me check your pulse, Virginians, and I'm going to scribble something legible on a piece of paper. Might be opioids. It's apparently illegal to swear in the town of Fairfax, Virginia, which is a place I grew up close to. This might be the one situation where around police it's better to be intoxicated rather than stone cold sober, because when you're fully intoxicated you can't talk and you can't swear, so they'll just get you on the DUI. I like that they're putting up a statue of Marion Barry in D.C. I think it is interesting because he actually has made all these contributions, but he's just sort of a punchline. Admittedly, he also had an interesting slogan that was only a slight tick better than, I think, Gillespie's calling himself, or the other guy calling himself a chief homophobe, which is that apparently at one point in a race, Marion Barry said to, his slogan was, "He may not be perfect, but he's perfect for DC." This is after he was busted for crack. I'm not sure that is both, it's both pandering and insulting. I mean, pandering is insulting, but it's like a backhanded compliment. Like, when you hear a slogan, if I was a DC resident and I heard a candidate say, "Hey, I may not be perfect, but I'm perfect for DC," I think I would just blush and go, "Oh, sir, you're too much." And then I'd probably get drinks with him. Last but not least, Valerie Jarrett apparently went to, or not, this is not last but least, but former White House advisor under the Obama administration, went and celebrated her 61st birthday at Tao, actually, in Vegas, which is a very exclusive nightclub. Apparently Michelle Obama was there as well, but the only reason she came was because it was the only way Barack could get in. They usually, a lot of these clubs have a one-to-one girl-to-man rule. So that's how exclusive and cool Tao is. So that's pretty cool to be doing that for your 61st birthday. And cheers to you for Barack for having someone who could get you in the door. I just also want to say, apparently Roy Halladay's plane crashed, which was really sad, because I did like watching him. I hated watching him because he would beat the Sox off of the Nationals, but that's really sad to die in a plane crash. So my prayers go out to his family in a little moment of not being sarcastic or satirical. Also, in other news, the Wizards stink, and they just got beat by a 2-10 team in the Dallas Mavericks. I am losing faith in the team. There's no joke there. That's just sadness. Anyways, thanks. This has been Jack Michelle, and the day is November 8th, 2017. Enjoy.